Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear students, welcome to our session 4 of online learning. I hope you studied carefully whatever I taught in the last class. A quick recap of whatever we studied in the last class. We saw how we name organisms, that is scientific naming, binomial nomenclature, that is we give two names. First name is from genus and second name from the species of the organism, like how we have humans have Homo sapiens as our scientific name. And then we moved on to five kingdoms, that is Monera, Protista, fungi, plant, animalia. Okay, and we saw their characteristics, and then we told that inshallah we are going to broadly see two categories, that is Plantae and Animalia kingdom. Plantae last class we saw, okay, the classification. Inshallah this class we are going to see the the classification of Animalia. Listen carefully so that you will understand inshallah. So when we see classification of animals, there are two main categories. First one is chordata and non-chordata. So we have to understand the difference between chordata and non-chordata. Chordata is any organism, any animal that uh, has notochord present in it in, but I mean like any time of its life. Okay, any time of its life, at some point of the organism's life, the notochord will be present. Okay, for example, we have to understand what is notochord. Notochord is a solid rod like tissue. I think I taught this in the second class or first class, I don't remember. It's a solid rod like tissue in the embryo. When you talk about humans, when we are in the embryo, that is fetus, when the baby, that is not baby, the fetus is 3 weeks, the notochord starts to grow. Okay, it's a solid rod like tissue in the spinal cord area. Okay, and it will grow, but when the child attains 4 age, I mean like 4 years of age, the notochord will almost be absent. Okay, it will almost disappear, and it becomes a vertebral column or backbone in the vertebrates. Okay, now we will have backbone, right? So inside that, when the baby was like 3 weeks, I mean not baby, the fetus was like 3 weeks, it forms notochord. Then it will be present till the baby is, the child is 4 years of age. Okay, then it will be completely turned into vertebral column or backbone in the vertebrates. So this is the definition for notochord. So now as a teenager or as an adult, we won't have notochord present, but at some point of our life we had notochord. So the definition for chordata is that those animals that had notochord at some point of their life. Fine. Okay, this is first type. Second one is non-chordata, that is no notochord. Any organisms or animals that never had notochord in them is comes under non-chordata. So these are the two major classification of kingdom Animalia. So first initially we will see about the subtypes of non-chordata, that is the phylum that come under this Animalia kingdom, I mean non-chordata. There are eight phylum you have to remember. Eight. Okay. Dear students, if you have the book, I think you should have the book. Then you have here the a space for taking notes. You can, if I say anything which are like that are not in the book, like extra information, I'm giving you explanation. Those things you can write here. Okay, And if you don't have book and you're referring the PDF, then you should have a notebook to note down whatever I give extra information so that you understand things better. So non-chordata, there are 8 subcategories phylum. First one is phylum Porifera. Second one is phylum Nidaria. C is silent. Phylum Platyhelminthes. Then you have phylum Aschelminthes. Then you have phylum Annelida. Then you have phylum Arthropoda. Then you have phylum Echinodermata. Then you have phylum Mollusca. Okay, I will repeat once again. Phylum Porifera, Nidaria, Platyhelminthes, Aschelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Echinodermata, Mollusca. So these are the 8 things you have to remember. So now we will see their characteristics one by one. When you see Porifera, they are irregular body. They won't have like a proper regular body. That's the first point you have to remember. Second is that in their body they'll have pores like a holes or ostia. Ostia is like the name for the pore in their body for entry of water containing oxygen and food. So water will enter, okay, with oxygen and food. So they will digest that, and they will have like this is the ostia through which water enters with food and oxygen. This is osculum. This uh, excretes the water. Okay, excretes the water. So even tiny pieces of sponge can regenerate into full individual. So when it comes to their regeneration, a small piece of sponge which is like separated from that sponge, okay, it will regenerate into full new individual. It is like a reproductive uh, system. So example, they have given two organisms, cycon and sponge. Then phylum Nidaria, they will have tentacles surround their mouth. You can see here the tentacles. Okay, these are called tentacles. It will surround their mouth, and stinging cells are present. We will see what is stinging cells. Just remember, when you study, you just have to write stinging cells present, but I will give you how they look like. Okay, so here these are the stinging cells present. These are the trigger. This is a stinging cell kind of thing. This is the nucleus, blue color thing here, and this is the trigger. So if the trigger gets activated by, if it touches something like a prey, okay, their food, if this trigger gets activated, this is a lid, it will be closed. Okay, but once the trigger gets activated, this stings outside, and this is their prey. Okay, this is their prey, that is food. It comes out suddenly and catches hold of the uh, um, catches hold of the prey, and this is like a discharge of the thread. Okay, this is called a stinging. Okay, so that's why they are called a stinging cell. And the next point is that reproduction by budding or sexual. We know that sexual reproduction, but when it comes to budding, this is called as budding. For example, the example they given is hydra, jellyfish, corals, anemones. Okay, when we will see for budding, hydra as an example. This is hydra. This is a parent hydra. So a bud develops. Okay, and it grows, and finally it separates from the parent hydra, and it becomes a new hydra. So this is the reproduction in hydra by budding. This method is called budding method. Okay, so next, phylum Platyhelminthes. They will have flat body, mostly parasitic. We told parasitic in the last class that it lives on other living organism and takes the nutrition. Mostly parasitic, worms, some free living. Some are like free living, not parasitic. Example, tapeworm, liver fluke, planaria. These are like organism names. Okay, so this is like an tapeworm. They have sucker. They suck the like their nutrition, like whatever they eat. and scolus is the part that connects to that sucker. Fine. And we'll go to the next category, that is phylum Aschelminthes. They look round, parasitic or free living. They are parasitic or free living. Example, Ascaris, round or pinworms. Ascaris, these they have given. Ascaris, this is the female and male. They have a mouth here, they have gut here, that is like a stomach, and uterus. Uterus is where the baby is like formed, and testis is for males. Okay, ovary is the female reproductive part. This anus for excretion. Okay, and next one is annelida. They have segmented body. They will not have like proper one body, it will be like a segment. And they excrete by nephridia. Nephridia is an unit, is like a part of um, digesting part, not digesting part, excrete excretory organ. Okay, like how humans have kidney, in which like waste materials and excess water are removed, okay, purified and removed by the kidney. Like that, for this, in this organisms, nephridia does the job. Okay, here you can see an earthworm, and nephridia is present here. This is an organ where this excreting system happens. Okay, removal of wastage from the body. Okay, this is an organ, and finally under posterior here anus will be there. Through that it will be removed, the excretion. Okay, the next point is that it is hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite are those organs, I mean those organism, male and the female organs is present in the same individual. Fine. Male and female organs are present in the same individual. Those are called as hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite. Example, earthworm, leech, nereis. Then the next is phylum Arthropoda. They are jointed legs, like this, jointed legs. Body divided into head, thorax region. Thorax region is basically that is between neck and the abdomen region. That is what is called as thorax region and abdomen. So body is divided into three parts. Then body covered with cuticle. That is, they will have skin and a layer above the skin, that is called as cuticle. It is made up of a hard substance called as chitin. Okay, it is made up of a hard substance called as chitin. And if you had observed scorpions, you would have seen a hard substance above their body. That is what is called as cuticle. So examples are like insects, spider, scorpions, prawns. If you have seen prawns and crabs, they come under this phylum Arthropoda. Next one is Echinodermata. Their body is flat or globular. Globular is like spear shape. They are deep sea animals. They are found in the deep of the ocean or the sea, and they have five arms or division of body. You can call us like five arms or division of the body. The division of the body will have five divisions. Spiny skin, that is they will have like spines on their skin. Okay, example, starfish. If you can search on internet how starfish look, you can see their spiny skin. And the next category in the non-chordata is phylum mollusca. They are soft unsegmented body. Here this is segmented body, here annelida we saw, but mollusca like unsegmented body, enclosed in a hard shell made up of calcium carbonate. If you have seen oysters, I think you people live in coastal region. If you have seen oysters, they will have the hard shell. Okay, that is made up of calcium carbonate. Inside that they'll have that pearls. Okay, and uh, they have muscular foot. Here this is single shell, this is muscular foot. This is not made up of shell, but this is made up of muscles. Using this they locomote, that is move. Okay, examples: oysters, snails, and octopus. Then these are the eight sub phylum categories of non-chordata. Next, we will see chordata. Under chordata, we have phylum chordata. For that, we have subphylum vertebrata. Under phylum chordata, initially the kingdom is classified into non-chordata and chordata. Under chordata, you have phylum chordata, and for under phylum chordata, you have subphylum vertebra. Vertebra, what and all comes under vertebra? We will see there are six types classification that comes under vertebra. Vertebra is basically those animals that have vertebrae, that is backbones. Okay, so there are six classes. One is class Chondroctes, class Osteichthyes, class Amphibia, class Reptilia, class Aves, class Mammalia. I will repeat once again: class Chondroctes, class Osteichthyes, class Amphibia, class Reptilia, class Aves, and class Mammalia. So when we talk about class Chondroctes, its skeleton is made up of cartilage. Cartilage is basically a hard tissue like bone. It's not bone, but it gives the support like bone. Okay, it gives support like bone. It is half as the density of bone. Okay, if the bone is like 100% hard, then cartilage will be like 50 percentage. Fine. They are marine fish. Seven pairs of gill slits. You can see the slits here, right, in the sharks. These seven pairs of gill slits will be there. Examples: sharks and rayfish. Rays. Then the second class is class Ostacris. Their bony skeleton. How we have bone? They'll have like the skeleton made up of bones, and they are found in both sea and fresh water. Okay, they'll have gills for breathing, covered by operculum. I will see here. I'll show here. So they will have inside. They will have gills. Okay, and it will be covered by this operculum. This is called as operculum. Okay, and examples: rohu and katla. These are like fish names. I think you might know this. Then class amphibia. They live on land but lay eggs in water where life history is completed. Like frogs, they are both adapted to life in water and land. They breathe with lungs, like how we breathe with lungs. They also do breathing with lungs. Example: salamanders and frogs. Next is reptilia. They are land animals, lay eggs on land, body covered with scales. Like how you have scales on fishes, like that they'll have scales on their body, like lizard, snake, crocodile, and turtle is the examples for the reptilia. Class Aves, they are aerial mode of life. Aerial mode of life is basically they spend most of their life in flying, in the aerial mode. Okay, they fly, basically birds and other things that fly. Okay, light bones help them in flying. If they are heavy, they cannot fly. They're big for feeding. They'll have beak like this for feeding and wings for flying. Example: birds. Next one is mammalia. We know that mammals are those animals that give birth and they give milk. Okay, so mammary glands for producing milk for young, like how humans have, that's females, and body covered with hair, hairy skin. These are the characteristics. Examples: cow, mouse, man, all these are like mammals. Fine. I think today we just saw this one, classification of animals. I hope you understood. If you have any doubts, write it down so that inshallah you can ask me in the live session. Next class we'll go to the next section, that is conserving biodiversity. Dear students, whatever I give you extra explanations in the class, okay, you just write it down here in this section. And if you don't have book, you should have book, but if you don't have book, whether you lost it or something, you should take xerox or buy new book But anyway, if you don't have book, then you have to write it down in your notes, those extra explanations. As for notes, I want you to do one thing, only one thing in your notes, that is you have to make a mind map or flow chart for the whole lesson. Once we complete the lesson, you have to make a mind map or a flow chart for the complete lesson. Inshallah, in one class I will explain you how to do that. Okay. And the next second thing you have to do is at the end of the every section you will have in-text questions like this. Okay, that you have to write it down on your book, like which out of ABCD is fungus, you have to mark where is fungus, then fern here, like that you have to mark it down. If there is like a 2 mark questions, then you have to mark down the answer on your book. Like for example, there will be one question there in text question, what is biodiversity? You have to mark down here the enormous variety of organisms termed biodiversity, then few more points. Okay, for 2 marks. So like that you should have marked on your book the answers for the question asked in the index questions. Then once we complete the lesson, at the end of the lesson we will have questions. For those also you should have marked the answers that you have to do in the book. And as for notes, you have to make a mind map or flow chart, that inshallah I'll explain. And then we are done with today's class. Inshallah, next class we will see the next topic. Hope you understood. Barakallah feekum. We will end the class here. Thank you. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik.